we have one of those gauges that's built into the oil tank, and we just got a delivery, and supposedly it's full, and the thing says like a third of a tank. All right, you pardon me running up and down. So now I'm like, okay, I know enough about what can happen. There's all my summer stuff in here, so I know enough about what could happen. We have two tanks piggyback together over here, whatever you call it. Maybe you won't call it piggyback, but we have two tanks that are joined together. And my first thought is, all right, maybe there's a blockage down in there that's caught, you know, and the oil is all drawing from this one tank over here, and it's not really full. So here's the gauge. All right. Now, anybody that has an idea what's going on here, if you could help me, because this is something I think is pretty weird. All right. So here's the gauge. All right. It's stuck on less than a quarter of a tank. All right. Now, the reason the gauge is so high, obviously, is because I opened it yesterday to see what was going on. I'm going to open it and show you what's up here. And anybody, I'm shooting this on my phone, so I'm sorry. So anybody that has knowledge of how these things work, maybe they can explain to me how a simple float can break. All right. So I'll put this up here, and I want to go through this. I'm going to throw some gloves on real quick because the oil is disgusting. All right. So hang on a second. So there's one glove. There's two. And the upshot is I purchased a new one of these. All right. So I figured, all right, maybe it's stuck against the back or something. So, hang on. So first thing I thought is there was no oil in the tank. So I opened up this thing, and it was pretty hard to get off. But at this point with this gigantic thing, it's not. All right. So first thing I did, obviously, I unscrewed this, and I gave this a pull. I'm like, all right, maybe it's just stuck, you know. And it went back down to where it was. So whatever. So anyway, so it wasn't stuck. Then I opened this up, and I want to show you what it looks like in it, right? Because it's completely full. However, I don't know how a float can break. A float is something made out of rubber, right? So unless the float is cracked and oil is getting into it. If anybody knows, really, please tell me. All right, so there is oil up to the tippy top of this thing. All right, let me see. Get a little flashlight, see if you can see here. Hopefully the camera's not going to drop in. So there's oil. You see it's blue in there. It's actually red, but there's oil right up to the top. So there's no question the thing is completely full. All right, so I take this out. And I'm gonna turn this off. Wipe it off. And it's just your usual thing for a 275 gallon tank. It's got a float on the bottom. Now, how can this float not float? All right, it completely works. I don't know if you can see this. When I pull this up, it goes up. When I push it down, it goes down. All right. So theoretically, the thing should be floating like this, and it should be on full. All right. See, it works. When I lower it down, I pull the thing out, it goes down. So the question is, this obviously is not floating. I don't see any cracks in it. I don't see any breaks. Do these things break? Does anybody know? So anyway, supplyhouse.com. I'm in no way affiliated with them, but I've been buying stuff from them for ages. I bought a new one. I mean, theoretically, I could have just bought a new float, or bought a cheap one, bent this out, put a new float on, and bent it back. But as long as I was doing it, I bought another float. So watch. I'm going to keep this at its highest thing, and I'm going to put it this way. All right, so it doesn't get stuck against the back. All right, here, I'm going to put it down. All right, and now it's in the tank. All right, watch it go. Dropping down. This thing should be floating on top of the water. On top of the oil. Correct? It's now completely down. So anyway, the reason I'm not screwing this in and putting more stuff on is I have a new one coming. We just got a delivery yesterday. So nobody's going to be putting any oil in there tomorrow or the next day. It's coming. The new part's coming tomorrow. Okay, today I'm going to swap out this gauge on my oil tank because it's broken. I got a new one. This is the Beckett leak-proof gauge. It's for a tank this size. If it's vertical, if it's 42 to 44 inch diameter tank. Anyway, this is the correct one. They make two different ones. They make a smaller one, they make a larger one. This is a larger one. All right. I tried everything. Apparently the float part, which is down there, is not floating. All right, the tank is full of oil. Where is it? I mean, it's pretty high up. We just got a delivery like 2 days ago, so maybe there's less than. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to take this, get rid of this. This float part is not floating. I don't know what happened to it, but it's sinking to the bottom. So I'm going to open it up. Here it is. I'm actually going to take the top piece off. This has a little marking. There's a little arrow pointing to which way. Let's see here. If I let me see here. Unscrew this. Let's see what I can see here. All right. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a little arrow pointing down, showing you which way this opens. All right. So this opens towards that arrow, okay? Because you want it facing towards the long part of the tank. So I'm going to keep this off. I put some pipe dope around it. And that's the name of that tune. All right, so let's get some pipe dope. I'm using this stuff right here. Just gonna get this all over the threads. Let's see if we got that covered. All right. All right. This to drop into the tank though, any extra. All right, so I'll get that rid of this. All right. All right, that's that. All right, so let's put it down in here. I'm gonna actually do something that I think is smart. Okay, I'm going to hold this up as I tighten it. Okay, by holding this up, but it's floating, so this one's obviously working. All right, this one's obviously working. So I'm just going to tighten this down all the way. Right away. There's a couple of gaskets, and we're going to tighten this, put this all the way in, and we're done. Let's get this all the way down there. Great. Okay, now it's pointing dead straight. All right, so that's it, it's finished. Let me just wipe up any extra pipe dope. All right, I made that from something short to something that's longer than it needs to be, but that's it, finished. All right, so this one's now floating. We're full, and that's it.